Good morning, and I'd like to welcome everyone to this live feed, or at least this live recording. Hopefully, before I finish this, I will be able to concisely explain what the connection is between these cats, what I'm saying, and the other things that I post. I'm filming the cats because there's no point in looking at my face for endless reasons. Not the least of which being that the moment that you see my face, it will create a bias. It will create an us and them mentality. It'll immediately create the issue that people will figure that if they can't identify with the way I look, or they will assume I can't identify with them, what I'm saying doesn't apply to them or not equally. That's one of the reasons why I like to show the cats, because first of all, the diversity of the cats that we have brought together here, that have come together in this space that was a neglected space in one of the most controversial areas in the world, as we are just outside of the Gaza Strip. Yes, the famous Gaza Strip, where there are rockets and pseudo-war activities going on all the time, where Thursday night we're awoken by by the air raid sirens, because of rocket fire, and then of course all the stuff that goes around that. Jerusalem isn't too far from here, and of course whoever pays attention to the news heard about the terror attack that happened just yesterday in Jerusalem, and all the other issues that are happening everywhere all the time. Now the moment that you happen to be seeing here in the park is a moment of calm, which is after what we call the feeding frenzy, which isn't a frenzy, but after the time that we come out in the morning, every morning, between 6:30 and 7:30 local time, usually. It's really mostly just before sunrise till just after sunrise, but as daylight savings time and sunrise changes, the hour changes. But we come here for a solution and for a reason that I've explained elsewhere, but I might touch on. I'm going to try to explain my posts and the job postings and the application, all the different things that are very ambiguous to most people, but that's because we're obviously in a very different reality, which is what this is all about. Meaning, the end core purpose of everything we're doing is first to make sure that everyone in the world who needs and wants to eat healthy should be able to eat healthy. Let's start with that. Understanding that for most people in the world, and who's most and who are people, that's a different discussion, but I can safely say that applies to every iteration of most and people that you want to calculate. But we're going to focus specifically on children. We're going to focus specifically on children for a vast multitude of reasons. One of the main reasons is because children are the future if they survive long enough. Children are voiceless mostly until Earth Guardians came about and Greta Thunberg came about, but they all grow up. Children are the most innocent victims because they didn't ask to be here in the first place. They haven't yet earned the opportunity to have blame, depending on which age you take. And they are only victims, helpless victims that somehow, someone, somewhere brought them into the world against their will on a certain level, and then decided to make it okay for them not to be able to survive. This kitten here is a prime perfect example, with one eye that is healing, all the different colors, and yet successful and surviving, and I could even say thriving, despite everything. Now this kitten is one of our mascots, and of course this cat also, who's a different breed, different color, different family, has a different problem. This one is an amputee. I will show that this one had surgically amputated tail because due to whatever reason it had a very damaged tail which affected every part of its life. We had the merit of calling the city vet that came and took it away and took care of it and brought it back, and now it's also surviving and thriving relatively well, where it has the confidence and the bravery to come for attention when it's offered. The fact that they are no longer scared. These are all wild street cats. The fact that they're no longer scared. That cat, the older one there, has a broken front left paw. These are all victims. If you pay attention, the front left paw is bent outwards. That's a male. This cat here, the one with the amputated tail, just want to show you, is also friendly. Not that they're domesticated. I don't take them home. But they've learned to come for the support and for the protection, which is a big deal of what we're talking about here. So if you're only watching the videos and you happen to like cats, or maybe don't like cats, that's okay. If you're listening to what I'm saying, that's also okay. Hoping that you also understand a bit. Here's a kitten, which is actually a mother to many of these smaller kittens. Second generation, we remember seeing this one born, having at least one set of kittens and more. And here it's eating from a plate that was spilled. Here's one of our smorgasbord picnic spots. We put out a wider array of food. Not wider array as far as variety, just wider array meaning spread it more widely, as you can see. So the cats can commune there and get along and learn how to get along together, which they do. This cat here that I'm petting now, we used to call him Psycho Kitty. Then his name became FOMO because he's so anxious. He or she is so anxious that all it does is attack new piles when I put them out, like now, just attacked my leg because it saw a kitten coming for attention. But now he's at least calm enough that comes for pets, which seems to calm him down. This is Calico. The point is, these cats are not from the same family, that's for sure. This strange neutral zone here is a place where there are no cats during the day. No matter what hour of the day you come, there are organically no cats here. But when we started coming here, and every time we come here, even now, almost any time during the day, cats will come from every direction. What I mean by that is, besides the cats you can see here, this calico cat also comes for attention. It's overcome its fear. They just don't like the camera for some reason. Some cats come from this direction, and over there you can see there's a highway, not a highway, but a main thoroughfare. As you can see, the vehicles passing. There's a sports stadium. There's some cats come from down there, from every direction, from houses, from buildings, from parks, from people's yards. They come from all directions, but none of them are, I don't want to say native, but none of them live in this park. But when we come, they convene here and they find peace. Some of them fight a little bit, they used to. They find peace and quiet in this abandoned, neglected zone where people throw their garbage and bring their dogs to, where they don't pick up after them, where they throw food, for whatever reason, other garbage. This has become a neutral zone that has attracted this energy of peace. Well, they call it the Gap, after one of our friends, David G, explaining the Gap as that void in between where people meet when they finally get it. Anyhow, what does this have to do with the application? Now that we're 8 minutes into this message, I'm going to start a new video to explain what this has to do with the application.